Hello everyone, and welcome to another Top 5 Records video, and another one in the series in which I'm taking a closer look at the full body of work of The Doors, since today we have arrived at their 6th album. I'm obviously talking about LA Woman. Now, LA Woman was released in 1971, and it is well known for being the last album with Jim Morrison. After recording this one, Jim Morrison went over to Paris. And something strange happened there because he lost some weight. He gained some weight before this album. Um, he tried to cope with health issues. He even had a phone call with, I believe, John Densmore when this record was released, talking about how are the sales of LA Woman. But suddenly, um, he was found dead in a bathtub. Now, a lot of stories have been going around about Jim Morrison, and this record, because Morrison's death was so close to the release of this album, always somewhat painted the story of this record. Is this their last big effort? Was Jim Morrison going down the line, or are we talking about an accident? Because there were signs that Morrison was getting better. Now, the official autopsy was that he died of heart failure in that bathtub. Thing is, French authorities in those days did not demand a thorough autopsy. A couple of years ago, Agnes Varda, a Belgian filmmaker, art house filmmaker, who was a close friend of Morrison at the time, said that she was one of the people who helped cover up the story of what really happened. And the sad thing is, it's very likely that Jim Morrison died of a heroin overdose there in Paris. So, a very LA focused record with attached to Jim Morrison's Paris death. Something is haunting this album. And it's more than just the bizarre, well, yeah, let's say it's the bizarre story of his end. There's also something very haunting about the quality of Jim Morrison's voice in here. There is a certain calm and a certain distance. And I'm not quite sure if it's just in his voice on this record, because you can also hear a different tone of his voice. Perhaps it's weariness, a certain tiredness, but you can hear that during the Isle of Wight show that was released a couple of years ago, and I love that show. Because that tone of his voice does add to a certain mysticism. He is not the raging young madman anymore that you can hear on the first albums. Yet he's not that old as well. He's 27 during the recording of this album. Perhaps it's got to do with the reverb because they recorded his voice, I believe, in the hallway that led to also a bathroom. That might do something with the reverb. The entire tone of the record is different. Paul Rothchild, the producer with who they collaborated for the first 5 albums, walked walked away during the production of this one, stating that he was not impressed by their songwriting and that he called, I'll have a look, yeah, Lover Madly a cocktail song, which he later on said, I just said that to make them angry and to trigger them to do some rougher work. Something on LA Woman is different. I'll take it out of the sleeve. Something of this record sounds different, and it's brilliant. It is a masterpiece. Opening with the Changeling, then going to Lover Madly, which I do understand the cocktail remark here by Paul Rothchild, yet it's not a cocktail song. It's more than a cocktail song. And I was wondering, is Paul Rothchild fearing that the band is going into a wrong direction? Was he actually trying to support them to make to get the better sound, or was all the success, and Paul Rothchild was in a very luxurious position, going to his head, thinking that if I just pinch or punch them hard enough, they will give me more. Or was he just not understanding the direction that the Doors were taking? Because you might say that Morrison was hard to work with, but the actual producer of this record, Bruce Butnick, together with the Doors, said that Jim Morrison was actually pretty easy to go with. And complaining about the songwriting on this record by Paul Rothchild, I mean, this might be one of their best written albums. Just looking at the track list, The Changeling is very good. Lover Madly is good. Been Down So Long is okay. Yeah, good. Cars is By My Window. But after Cars is By My Window, I mean, not a bad song yet, eh? LA Woman, 7 minutes 49, which is a powerhouse, an anthem of the sheer quality of the Doors, on which we hear a roaring, perhaps the only song in here in which Morrison sounds like his younger self again. Not fully, not fully, but the because you can hear there is some damage to the voice. And I love that. I love his voice. Damaged. But there is some of the old energy here. And even in his new energy, it's not that this record needs the new the old punchy energy. It has the mysticism of a new Morrison voice. Then you go to side 3. L'America it's a good song. I like that one. Hyacinth House and Crawling Kingsnake are are okay, a bit more than okay. They're good. Then side 4, because I'm talking about side 1, 2, 3, and 4, because I'm talking, of course, about the Analog Productions 45 RPM. I did a video comparing this to a first US, a first UK, and leave a first German one. And this is my go-to copy, the 45 RPM. But don't take my word in this video for it. Take my word in the other video. Now, side 4, then you've got The Wasp, which is obviously a banger. And then Riders on the Storm, talking about mysticism. My uncle told me the story that he went to a campsite in the summer and it was raining. And then suddenly all the electricity went away on the campsite. And everybody was inside stuck with the rain. But there was only one spot of electricity all the way to the top of the campsite on the top of a hill. Was, I believe, a clerk or somebody who still had a little bit of electricity, and he had also access to the sound system. So he put on Riders on the Storm in the rain, in the darkness during summertime, and everybody was listening to that song. And it's that image. I mean, this song just creates images of memories, images of films. The film The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer. I mean, he's Dutch. I can just pronounce the Dutch. Rutger Hauer from 1986. Brilliant horror movie about a roadside killer inspired by Riders on the Storm. It was also a remake, but the remake is not so good. Go for the original from 1986. You'll love it. The song is like a movie. LA Woman, the song is like a movie. This is a gorgeous, beautiful, legendary album. Haunted by tales, haunted by mysticism, or is it actually making the record stronger? Well, that's up to you. I think this is a masterpiece, and what a way to say goodbye for Jim Morrison. So, I'm curious, do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.